sunrise in Palawan. David's in Palawan. Those guys have been in Palawan for a week now, Pat.
Yeah, I'm actually envious.
Very nice view of Palawan. And we have a team in Palawan. Of course, the Palawan team is covering the salvage operation of the USS Guardian. And this is live from EDSA Shaw. Not too bad at this time. This is the southbound lane, is it? Yeah, that's a southbound lane. Not too bad. Nice, actually, at this time. Looks nice on TV, but you know, what you're missing is the texture. And this is our skyline as you see it from the rooftop of the Worldwide Conference Center along Shaw Boulevard in Mandaluyong. And the sun's rising. You can see the silhouettes of the building. Looks like it's going to be a nice day. And this is where we are. This is Ongpin Street, right in the middle of Binondo, Manila, Chinatown. And Binondo is the oldest Chinatown in the world. It was established in 1594. It was established by the governor at the time. And we're in the middle of Plaza San Lorenzo Ruiz. That's the Binondo church that you see. And in a few days, there's going to be a lot of activity here because in a few days, on Sunday specifically, it's going to be the Chinese New Year. And tomorrow is going to be New Year's Eve here. So we're kind of stretching and exercising for the coming New Year. And the guys in the studio...
And it's so telegenic.
The guys in the studio are saying, bring back food after the live shot. The oldest Chinatown in the world, 1594. It was established by the Spaniards. This is where the first Chinese community stayed, but the condition then was that they had to be converted into Catholicism. So Binondo was the area where the converted Chinese lived. Outside of Binondo, near Intramuros, is a place called Parian. In Parian lived the unconverted Chinese. Now the Spaniards wanted the Parians, wanted the unconverted Chinese, who they called the Sanglis, to live in Parian because Parian was in range of the Spanish cannons. So they could stop any uprising or revolution, if at all it started. Good morning, I'm Jing Saysay.
And I'm Pat Fernandez.
And we're right here in the middle of Binondo, and as you can see behind me, behind Pat and I, is Ongpin Street and Quintin Paredes and the San Lorenzo Ruiz Church, Binondo Church Minor Basilica and National Shrine of San Lorenzo Ruiz. San Lorenzo Ruiz lived here in Binondo, and in 1895, Emilio Aguinaldo got married.
Oh, really?
In this church.
Church.
And today, this is the center of financial activity in Manila. In the 80s, it was called, during the financial crisis of the 80s, this was called Binondo Central Bank. A lot of money flowed through here, but historically this place is thick with history, thick with food, thick with texture. If you're here with us, you could smell the air. You could smell food, a mixture of food, diesel fumes.
That's true.
I remember when I was young, I used to smell calesas here as well.
Well, there are still calesas here, but there are very few.
There are a few. I guess, you know, there's not too much room for them in Binondo anymore. So we're going to be here all morning, at least for the program, to bring you the texture and the activities and the news, of course, from Binondo. Pat and I are going to be staying here. Pat, of course, is going to tell us what the weather's like. Amelin, hi Amelin. Amelin is in the studio.
Hi, Jing.
And we're going to bring you the news.
Good morning, Jing, and good morning, Pat. You got it right. We do want you to bring us not only texture and stories from Binondo, but food as well.
Don't worry, Amelin will bring you tikoy and Ano pa ba nang bibili dito? Matsopaw. And we'll ask the guys from NBT.
Pansit.
Rice.
And
Hopya.
pansit. And
Pansit,
matchang.
We can bring a dragon later. Also.
Or a water snake.
Okay.
Or a figurine of a water snake.
Oh,
The year of
yes,
the
that's
water
right.
snake. That's right. Pat, of course, is in a cheongsam. In a green
I'm actually wearing green
cheongsam.
because it's the year of the water snake, and they say it's lucky to wear emerald this year.
Okay, so bibigit ako sa'yo. Para swear to you. Okay, it's a nice day here. We saw in Palawan a little while ago that it's a nice day in Palawan as well. So why don't we ask Pat? Pat, what's the weather going to be like?
Well, here in Binondo, it's really a fun and beautiful morning. And it's not so warm and it's not so cold because the sun is partially hidden by the clouds. And this kind of weather will prevail in most parts of the country today. However, Weather Bureau Pag-asa says the easterlies will still bring warm and moist winds in the eastern section of the country for today. And as you can see in our Metro Weatherscape, there is a small amount of rainfall there in western Mindanao and Palawan in the early part of the afternoon. But the entire country will just be partly cloudy today with isolated rain showers and thunderstorms, particularly over the Bicol region, eastern Visayas, and the regions of Caraga and Davao. Moderate to strong winds blowing from the east to northeast will prevail over Luzon and the eastern section of Visayas and Mindanao. The coastal waters along these areas will be moderate to rough. Elsewhere, the winds will be just light to moderate coming from the northeast, and this will bring slight to moderate seas. A gale warning is raised in the northern and western seaboard of northern Luzon, so fishing boats and other small sea craft in these areas are advised not to venture out into the sea, while larger sea vessels are alerted against big waves. And that's the latest on the weather this morning. Well, to get to know more about the most festive celebration of the Chinese community here in the country, which is the Chinese New Year, let's watch this.
It's the most festive time of the year, at least for over 1 billion Chinese people around the world. The Chinese New Year, also known as the Spring Festival, is considered to be the most important social and economic holiday in China. It is celebrated on the first new moon of the first month of the Chinese lunar calendar until the Lantern Festival on the full moon after 15 days. It is used to be celebrated by the Chinese in honor of the household and heavenly deities, as well as their ancestors. Today, the celebration is a time to bring families together to feast, and even a chance for relaxation. In 1996, the Chinese government instituted a week-long vacation during the holiday, giving people the opportunity to travel home and celebrate the New Year. There are many beliefs and superstitions observed during the New Year's Day and the 15 days of celebration. Among the most common are the placing of round fruits on the dining table, eating sticky foods like tikoy, and also the use of fireworks and firecrackers like in many other celebrations. On New Year's Eve, every door and window of the house has to be opened on midnight, as it is believed that this will allow the old year to go out. Some families also invite a lion dance troupe as a symbolic ritual to usher in the Chinese New Year and to evict bad spirits from the premises. Before New Year's Day, the entire household should be cleaned, as they say sweeping or dusting will attract good fortune. After the first day, the floors may be swept. However, there is a practice that should be followed. The dust and rubbish should be swept from the door to the middle of the parlor, then placed in the corners of the house to welcome the good fortune for the family. The trash should not be thrown out until the 5th day, and it must be taken out through the back door. Another belief is that if the dirt is swept over the threshold, one family member is also being swept away. On the 2nd day of the first month of a lunar calendar, married daughters visit their parents, relatives, and close friends. However, the 3rd day is considered an unlucky day to have guests or go visiting. Rural villagers still continue the tradition of burning paper offerings over trash fires. For communities that celebrate Chinese New Year for only 2 or 3 days, the 4th day is when corporate spring dinners are held and business returns to normal. The Chinese people's superstitions have evolved and passed through from generation to generation. Their traditions have survived different seasons of history and traveled many miles away from their homeland in Eastern Asia. And even here in our country, the Chinese culture will always be embedded in the Filipino tradition. Pat Fernandez, Solar News.
And we're coming to you live again from Binondo. We're in the middle of Chinatown. And before I turn you over to Kat Domingo, who's going to give you the traffic report from EDSA. Traffic here is light, but a lot of people are rushing around in preparation for Chinese New Year. So I'm going to turn you over to Kat Domingo now, who is along EDSA, to give you the latest traffic report. Hi, Kat.
Good morning, Jing. I know that over there in Binondo, everyone is busy preparing for the Chinese New Year. But over here at EDSA, expect that traffic won't be prosperous this morning. Our exact location today is EDSA Shaw Boulevard. And over here is the southbound lane, where vehicles coming from Mandaluyong and Ortigas are heading onwards to Makati and Pasay City. At this hour, this road is still passable. However, we have some minor delays around here caused by buses picking up and dropping off passengers from undesignated areas. And if you're driving a private vehicle, you'll actually be irritated because some bus drivers do it in the middle of the roads, and that adds up to the slow movement of traffic in this area. And speaking of early morning irritation, southbound lane is already congested in several portions. Balintawak at this moment is already heavy, perhaps due to the trucks unloading along Balintawak Market. And Pitwazon and Kamuning to Pitwazon is also a bumper-to-bumper spot. Meantime, Jing, Santolan is also looking heavy, and expect that other points along EDSA southbound will be heavy in a few minutes. However, good news for motorists who are flying EDSA northbound. All points of EDSA northbound from FB Harrison in Pasay City to North Avenue in Quezon City are problem-free at this moment. Jing, we will be back in a few minutes to give you more detailed traffic updates. But remember, it doesn't hurt to always be extra careful when you're on the road. Jing?
Thanks, Kat. And Kat is going to bring you traffic updates throughout the program. And we're here in Binondo live, watching preparations for the Chinese New Year on Sunday. We're going to bring you back to Amelin in the studio for the headlines from the various broadsheets. Amelin.
Thanks, Jing. Let's now take a look at the banner stories of the major dailies for today, February 8, 2003. Okay. Okay, nag-hang siya ng konti. We'll try to move it. All right. We'll just get back to this later, and we will be giving you the major stories from our major dailies. And checking on this morning's trending topics, in Twitter, netizens around the world are talking about the Venezuelan right-handed starting pitcher Felix Hernandez, or King Felix. This after King Felix agreed to a 7-year, $175 million contract with the Seattle Mariners starting this season. With this, Hernandez became the highest-paid pitcher in baseball history. Hernandez is set to earn $19.5 million this season and $20 million in 2014. And still on Twitter, Blue Jays reunited with Jessica Sanchez on V-Day is a trending topic locally. Here, Filipino fans of Jessica Sanchez, known as the Blue Jays, could not hide their excitement 6 days before her concert here in Manila. The Blue Jays first met Jessica Sanchez during the Idol Tour of American Idol Season 12's Top 10 here in Manila last September. And acclaimed director Steven Soderbergh is one of our Yahoo trending topics this morning. Here, Soderbergh announced his official retirement during the premiere of psychological thriller Side Effects. The film features Jude Law, Rooney Mara, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and Channing Tatum, who all expressed their loneliness on the director's retirement. Soderbergh was known for his films Magic Mike, Ocean's 11, and Traffic.